Okay, so I'm going to cut out the fishing line that came out from the stopper after we've clamped it, cut it out. Now we are going to work with wires, which is how we are going to assemble this piece. I'm going to pass a wire through. I'm trying to get it, pass the wire through it. I want to clamp it with the wire to make it firm, so that when I pass it through some other, when I pass it, can you see what I'm doing? Okay. So that when I pass it through a bead or whatever it is I want to do now, it will stay, it will be firm. Okay, so more or less like I'm trying to firm up, tighten up that end. You'll see what I'm doing anyway. In case if I'm not explaining it well, just watch, you see what I'm trying to do. Trying to tighten it up, tightening it up, tightening it up. And if you see what I'm doing, I'm just basically rolling it through. Why am I doing this? Because I'm going to, so more or less like I've rolled it through, I've made it firm. I made it firm. I've rolled it through. So you see many lines. I've rolled it through a number of times, just so I can have a wire coming through and it's firm. It's not something that would lose easily. And to make this end not to prick at any point, I'm going to use my clamp to close it up a little. Can you see this part coming out? To use my clamp to close it up a little. Yes. So now I've closed it up a little. It may look a little rough here, but not to worry. Now let me cut. You see it's coming from there. Let me cut some part out. Remember, this is wire now, not fishing line. Now I'm going to pass my, remember that accessory I said I'm going to use? I'm going to pass it through. Okay, you see what's going on there? And I also noticed that two of my wires, I don't know why they cut. Yeah, I noticed that some cut through. I don't know why they cut through, but I think I should fix that first. Wait. Okay, so I also remember I promised you that I'm going to show you how I string this, something like this, put the wire through. So let me show you how I do that. So I fulfilled my promise, right? So here it is. Here it goes. So I'll just look for where the hole is. I found it. Pass it through. Make sure we have sufficient at both ends, just the way we did it for the crystal bead. When I see it has sufficient at both ends, I'll cut it. I'll just eyeball it to just make sure it's about the same length at both ends coming out from the bead. So, and then I just turn it round. I've already decided how long or how much I want it to go. So, see? Then now it's just to turn it round. Turn it round. And make sure it's actually going round. See? Going round, 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 It's getting too tough for my fingers. I'll use my clamp. Come and see what the Lord has done for me. He has taken my sorrows, and now I'm free. I'm still on it. Because of Jesus, every day na shakara he did do. Okay, we are still on it, but as you can see, that has formed. I also clamp that end just to make sure this does not injure someone. You know where the edge stops. I'll just clamp it so that we just stay as close as to the main wire as possible. That way it won't injure anybody. Okay. Because of Jesus, every day na shakara did you. Okay, see. You see? So we're ready at that end. Let's go to the other end. Turn it down. Now we begin to see how we can turn it around, and clamp. See what I'm doing? And go around. We need to go around and round and round. See? And round and round and round. If it's getting too painful, but it's not turning as much as you can, the clamp comes to your rescue. Just to make sure no issues there, I'm going to use my clamp on it. That's why it's so important. You can't do without this clamp when you're making wires. You can't do without it. So see what we have. This one is still sticking out here. Let's see if we can still go round and round. Then I can actually use this to make an earring to suit the bead, so that the outfit is complete. And the same way we made the necklace, we can also make a bracelet that looks like that. If you want me to make a bracelet, write it in the comment section. If I get 3 requests, I will make it. It's actually the same way. So that's it. So if I wanted to make an earring out of it, I would like to use this for my earring. And what I would do, I'll just look for an earring head, which could be as simple as this, and attach, right? Or I may want to attach it to an earring head like this. So it's really up to me what I want. I can attach it to an earring head which has a hook, or I could just fix it to a very simple earring head like this. It's up to me. But since I always like to go for simple, so I can wear it anywhere I want to go to office, casual outings, wherever I want to go to, I'm just going to use the simple head because I'm team simple any day. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make a simple wire around the simple bead, and I'm going to use the simple bead to attach to the earring head and my flat bead. Simple bead to attach to the earring head and my flat bead. So see the simple bead, the crystal like we used last time. So I'm going to gauge it so that we have about enough to clamp both edges and cut it out. We have enough to clamp both edges. That's it. and then we work, same work, but remember we are attaching this to this end, so pass it through while we work. See what I've done? So while we work on clamping this, see, need to turn it around, turn it around, turn it around. It's getting difficult. I'm going to use my clamp to help me fix that difficulty. Just help me turn it around even more and make sure it works. Let's see, my simple bead fell off while I was doing that, so I'll fix it back in. See, and then I'm going to fix this into the earring head. Remember I told you I like simple earring heads, so that's it. So I'm going to pass it through and then of course turn. Can you see what I'm doing? Can you see what I'm doing? And when I cannot turn anymore, I'm going to clamp it down so that it looks neat and it doesn't injure anybody. It looks neat and it doesn't injure anybody. See what it's looking like already. So you see that part sticking out, I need to clamp it so that it doesn't injure the wearer.
Because you come back again. I don't want to come near you. I didn't want to. I went to call the other. I remember your mom is around. Oh yeah. I went to come near the other. I remember your mom is around. Okay. Yes. That's why me and I've just been.
So you see, clamping, 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 and then we close. So see what the earring looks like. Now I'm done. What do you think? So that's the earring for you. If you don't want it this long, you can easily remove this part, so you just attach here straight to this. But I kind of like a long earring, so I would always put an extra there to make it longer. So I do hope you try this at home, see what it looks like. I do hope you try it at home and then tell me what you feel like, what was your experience like, and we can share experience, right? Okay, bye bye. This is my earring done. See you. Okay, so what I did was to cut the fishing line out of here and then cut a wire about 4 inches long, and then I twist part of it through this end and it came out just a little, but everything, all of this place that looks a bit tacky is going to go into this accessory. I said I'm going to use this accessory, remember? So I'm going to pass it through, and by the time I get there, you see how tacky it looks. The accessory is going to cover up everything. Do you see? So it's going to look like, it's going to come out looking like this. Nobody's going to know how the inside looks. So all that part to be covered inside the accessory. What I did here was to turn the other end of the wire through these beads 3 times just to make it firm, and then I'll pass it through. The accessory will now cover that part. Then this is the other end of the wire. Now because this other end of the wire would or because this mouth is too wide, I'm not going to leave this end of the wire to knot with another. Instead, I'll put a bead that can cover the end, and the bead has to be such that it's not off the color of what you're making. I use a transparent bead, so I've put that bead there. so that bead kind of covers the end of that mouth and still adds some beauty to it. So now, seeing I've covered it with a bead, I can now form a knot with which I will knot and then connect other pieces to it. You'll see what I mean shortly. Now I'm thinking this is too long, obviously too long, so I'm going to cut part of it so that I can really turn make a knot, so I can really make it. So I'll cut some parts of it. So I just have a little part of it left. I've cut the other part out. Now I'm going to make a knot. Just bend it a little, then going to try and turn it around. Turn it around and then knot it. Turn it around many times, as much as I can afford with the wire I have. So you see me turning it, the empty parts or the parts that is sticking out. I'll keep turning it. I just want to turn it such that number one is firm, number two, which is more important, it forms a knot, and that knot we can connect other things to it. So we're trying to just turn it, keep it firm. I hope you can see what I'm trying to do. If you don't understand, you can put your question in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer. I'm still turning, just a little more left. I'm still turning. As far as it can turn, I'll keep turning. When it cannot turn anymore, I'll use my clamp to clamp it shut. I'm trying to do just this little one and it's proving to be stubborn. Maybe it's time for us to use our clamp to clamp it. Once it gets to that point, it's refusing to turn again. Here comes the clamp to finish it up. So I will just clamp it that way. It just has a way of closing it such that it doesn't harm anyone. It's not too sharp. Clamped it. And now let's straighten it as much as possible so that it looks decent. And I want the mouth a bit rounder, so I put my clamp through to widen it just a little. It's a bit wider. Now let's make it straight so that it doesn't look crooked or funny looking. Better. Remember, all this has to go in. You don't want any funny stuff showing. If it's not tight enough, we have to open up and tighten it way more, because we don't want any funny stuff showing. Let me see if I can take this down a little. See, I can take it down a little. Okay. Make it as pretty as possible. That's it. So now remember those ones I said I had done before. I'm going to just begin to attach them together. You can attach them using simple beads like what I put here, so that it still looks exquisite. So I will use something like that. And when I do it for this one, you see it's the same way this is done. So now let me look for that bead. Yes, this is it. It's a crystal bead. This is a size 6. the crystal bead. I'm going to pass it through the wire. Look at how much I want to use at each end, from here to here. I think this should be enough, so I'm going to cut it here. Leave about the same wires at the end of each crystal bead, about the same length. Then now what do I want to attach? I want to attach this one at one end, so I'm going to pass it through. Remember, I've done this one before, so I'm going to pass it through the one I want to work on, the crystal I want to turn. I've passed it through before I start my turning. Can you see it inside? Yeah. So I'm going to start my turning. Remember, I want to turn it and make a knot. So there goes. I'm making a knot. Turning it, making a knot. Turning it. Can you see what I'm doing? Making a knot. Making a knot. Making a knot. When it can't go anymore, we do what? We clamp it. That way it won't injure anybody when the person wears it. It won't injure anybody. Do you see it? While doing this, that crystal bead had fallen off, so now I've picked it up. So let's pass it through again. So that's where it's going to stay while I make a knot out of this one. Now remember, before I start making the knot, I'm supposed to attach it to this one that we started doing. So I'm going to pass it through before I start. You see, I've passed it through before I start making the knot. Passed it through. Now it's time to make the knot. Can you see it's inside? Yes. So I'm going to try and make the knot now. Let's go. Okay. Time to turn it. So now I'm making the knots. Making the knots. Making the knots. Making the knots. Still turning. Making the knots. Making the knots. If I can't turn again, then we are going to clamp. When it cannot turn again, as usual, we are going to clamp, so it's not injurious to whoever wears it. Remember, it's wire, so it can really injure someone if it's sticking out. So I'm just, see what I'm doing, just clamping it, clamping just to make sure it's not injurious. So see what we have made, right? So now we fixed these beads, we fixed it. Remember, this must be covered, okay, because we're dragging it. Yeah. So this is what we made thus far. So now we want to connect this with this big chain, but we don't want the whole chain, we just want one. Do we use one? We use two. Okay, let's use one because we are still going to perhaps use another one. So since we already have this, we are going to take this out. Let's remove one. We want one part of the chain. See what I'm doing? Trying to open up chain. So I've removed one part of the whole chain, just one part out. So now we want to connect this to this one. Same process, but first we'll cover this. Close that mouth we opened. Can do it manually with your hand or with the clamp. Anyone is fine. Now I see it's not closed properly, so to do a better job, I'll use my clamp just to make sure it touches. So when you use your wire won't fall off. So now we are supposed to connect this to this. So what I'm going to do, my wire to the rescue. Pass your wire through remember to clamp. I'm going to clamp it through so it doesn't lose out easily. You see, I turned it through like twice. Then the other part is going to come out as a I'm going to knot it the way I did for the rest. I'm going to knot it, so I'm leaving about an inch or so. That's what I'm going to cut out. I'll use for the knot. So now I want to knot. Now, knowing that this part is already knotted, I would just attach it. Right? See what I did? Attach it. Remember, we are going to make a knot, so go down, continue to make a knot. Now we made that cover. Now it's time to turn. It's time to turn. 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 Turn, making a knot still. Turn. Turn. Now see what we have. It's not looking as good as I want it to look. Let me see if we can remedy that a little. Let me see if I can widen it using my plier. Widen the knot. I just want to widen that hole a little more. You can see what I'm doing, trying to widen that knot a little bit. All I'm trying to do is to make sure it looks neat. Though we are using wires, at the end of the day it still looks neat, and of course does not injure the person wearing it. Okay, let's see, we can still knot this, can still go around a little. Okay, so see what we've made. See what we've made. Okay, so now we are going to put another knot at the other end. Remember, see where we are coming from. Put on that knot at this end as well. Remember what we did to do that. Get some wire out. There's that mouth. Okay, remember we started from here. So we're going to use the opposite side. Don't use this part or this part, no, just opposite, so that it can stand well, because at the end of the day your bead has to stand. So I'll just put some through, basically to clamp it so it doesn't remove easily. Clamp it through. Okay, clamp it through. So now we are ready to cut this part out so we can make a knot out of it. I normally leave about an inch or so, depending on how big what it is you want to clamp this. Now, since we are going to clamp this, we are going to decide what next we want to attach to it. Remember, we are coming from here. We started with a simple bead, crystal bead, then a flat big bead, then a part of a chain, big part of a chain. Now, do we want to continue with same? We can, or we can put a completely different bead, just for, you know, beauty. So see, a different bead, different from the other flat one we have. It's a different one. So we can clamp, put it through this. Remember, we have done this down. Same process we are doing, same process. So you can pass it through this, and we can begin to clamp. Can you see? So we turn. Now, I don't want to spoil the beauty of the hole we are making for this one, so I may have to use my clamp to widen it a little, open it a bit more, just to make sure it's not too small. Okay, yeah, we've expanded it a little. We are still turning it around. Okay, we can clamp it if it's not going again. I want to still open this hole, it's still too small for my liking. It can be bigger. Trying to open up this hole. Can you see it? And then I need to clamp this one shooting out. Now, another way of doing this would be, instead of turning this many times here, you can just make this clamp here. You can just make this clamp, that means turn it through and kind of clamp it there. That's an easier way to do it, but sometimes I like to do it this way, just to ensure that you can wear it for years without it opening, because it's been clamped. Now, I don't want this to injure the person that wear it, so I'm still going to clamp this until it closes on a wire. That way it will not hurt the person wearing it, neither will it affect their dress. For example, if they are wearing something with holes, they don't need to be afraid if it will spoil their dress. It will hook and spoil their dress. So let me show you. This is how far we've gone from this part. We put this one, we hooked it with this and this and this, then this, now this. Now, is this enough for our design? Now let's take a look. Will this be enough for our design? What our design is looking like right now. Would it be enough? Still thinking. I think it should be enough. I think it should be enough. And if we want any more, we can just add from this part all the way to this part for the other end. From this part all the way to this. So let's go look for this part. Is it long enough? I think it is. I think it is. I think it is. So let's look for that part and add it. Okay, by now I'm sure you're getting a hang of the kind of design we are making, but if you're not getting it yet, you eventually get it. So this is one part of that bead. Let's work on the other end. Remember we said we would do from here to this point for the other end. So just see what we are going to do. We stopped here for this point, so let's go back to the other end of the bead and do what we did for that first end. Now when I did this, when I looked at the string, I discovered that some are shorter than others, but I didn't mind, because by the time we put the stopper, that's what will form the scallop the way we want it to be. And that's really entirely up to you. If you want them to be the same length, fine, you can. But if they are not the same length, not to worry. If you put your stopper, it will just form a scallop for you. So now we're ready to put our stoppers. We're going to put 2 stoppers through our 7-wire bead, sand bead. I'm going to put 2 stoppers through. Let me put 2 stoppers through. Remember what we did for that first one. You first try to put them from the longest wire. Okay, this one, and I'm not going to put the 2 at the same time. I'm going to finish with 1 before I put the other. Okay, let me see this one, make sure this one can enter. Yeah, so 3 in now, 4 to go. It's another one. Okay, 4 in now. Let's keep putting till all of them are in. Five in now. Keep putting, we can do it. 6 in now. Yep, that's looking good. Meaning the 7th. Yes, 7. 7 in now. Yep. So what I'm going to do, draw it. See? So draw it in until all of them come in. They are all in. 1 stopper. So let's put the second stopper. Second stopper is just to make sure it's very firm, so it doesn't cut easily. So I'm going to do that one just to make it very firm. Remember, I'll start from the longest one, go through. Okay, and then the others will begin to follow suit. Okay, we have 3 in now. Just keep going, don't get discouraged. 4 in now. Keep going, don't get discouraged. 5 going in. Come here. 5 going in now. Yep. 2 to go. 6 and 7 are here. Let's put them through. 6 going. Yeah, then 7. Mr. 7, where are you? Mr. 7 is here. Mr. 7 has gone in, so all of them are in now. So we have the 2 stoppers holding the beads. So now let's draw and make sure all of them have come in well. I'm going to draw one by one just to make sure all of them have come in and they've come in tight. I don't want some dragging and some wires and some fishing line showing. So as much as possible, dragged all of them. See it round. Dragged all of them in. Now this is done. We use our clamp and we are going to clamp it just to make sure no movement, guys. We secure it. No movement. Pardon the noise. My people are playing a Scrabble game somewhere not far from where I'm sitting. See what I'm doing? Just basically clamping to make sure it is all together. I don't know, I just really have a love for sand beads. When I learned bead making, I started with sand beads. Well, Most of my colleagues went for the bigger beads. I just fell in love with sand beads, and because of that, I find it very easy to work with them. Very easy. Even before I discovered the tool that can put them quickly in fishing lines, I'd fallen in love with sand beads for the longest time. From the very first time I learned about bead making. So now this is ready. I'm going to do what we did to the other end. In case if you didn't understand it, just watch. So we have 3 on this end. I kept 4 on this end. Then I'm going to put wire, not fishing line, wire. I'm going to pass wire through it. I just want to stick our claim that, hey, I don't want you to move anyhow. Just to stick our claim on it that don't move anyhow, don't cut, stay in position. When we fix the other things, please don't move anyhow. Just stay in position. See what I'm doing? Just to secure. So I'm just going around just to secure it, so that when we connect the wire there won't be any I don't know you, why are you here, why are you disturbing us? So we are fastening the wire through it. Now it has gone through twice already. We can clamp just to make sure it won't. Remember, be careful. Remember to be careful while you do this, so that's it. So this is the other end we didn't clamp. We clamped the other end to it. And we have another end we didn't clamp. Always clamp such that it won't injure whoever is going to wear. See this sharp part showing, that sharp end shouldn't be there, so that it doesn't injure the person wearing. No hook clothes. See what I'm doing? Just basically to cover it up. So now we have it attached. We have it attached to our wire. Now we have it attached. I'm going to cut some parts. Remember, we are going to fix our tool, this tool, to that end. So I'm going to cut some part out, enough to pass through the tool and go through a simple bead. Let me show you that simple bead again. Talking of something like this, simple crystal bead. I'm going to cut it. I hope you are following. I hope so. Sincerely hope so. So let me cut about some 2 to 3 inches, or 2.5 inches thereabouts. So now I have this. I'm going to pass my accessory through. Where is it? Yes, here it is. I'll pass my accessory through it so that it can cover all that work we did there. All the work we did there won't be too obvious because the accessory will cover it. And then I'll pass my simple crystal bead through it. Remember how we did this? See how we did the other end? That was what we did there. So it has to be uniform. The way we did it, we passed this one first, then the crystal bead, then made this wire. So that's what we want to do. We've passed this now. Then we put the crystal bead. Crystal. So now, if you look at it closely, it's now looking like the other end. Okay, let's turn it this way. So, see? So it's going to look like the other end. So now at this point we are going to clamp. But looking at it, it's too long for us to clamp, turn around and clamp. It will be too much wire. So I'll cut some part of it off. So it's not too much wire. So just a little part I left. So now I'm ready to turn and clamp. hope you can see what I'm doing. Trying to clamp, turn it around, and you get a hang of this. The more you do, the more you get it. So never be discouraged. In beadwork, you have to be resilient, meaning even if you didn't get it yesterday, try again today. Keep trying till you get it. And sometimes while you're trying, you will find out that you may actually stumble on a new style, new pattern of doing it, which at the end of the day is a plus for you. So don't get discouraged while doing this work. Many patterns are formed from error. Many patterns are formed through trial and error. So don't get discouraged, right? It's one of those things in life. You can see that edge. I don't want this edge so that it doesn't injure somebody. So that's why I want to clamp. It's refusing to turn, so let's just clamp it. So you can just close somewhere. That way it won't injure the person wearing it. So see, beautiful. So now we've gotten this end. Now the two ends are looking similar now, right? So now after this one is to get something like this, is crystal bead, and put it through this wire so that I can form it here. So it will be the same thing. That's what we're going to do right away. So I'm going to take my crystal bead, just put a little bit of wire through it. Put a little bit of wire through it. That's it. And then I'm going to cut and then clamp through. Exactly the same way we did it for the other one. That's it. Remember, this end is ready, so I'm just going to pass it through. I'm going to pass it through. Okay, so let us clamp. Let's take it round. Okay. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm going to clamp this because of this mouth piercing out. This one piercing out. I'm going to clamp it so it doesn't injure the person that will wear it. Sorry, pardon my voice. We are in Harmattan season. Where I live. So you see it's coming out. I don't want it to come out so it doesn't injure the person that wear it. I have to make sure it doesn't do that. Now while fixing this, our crystal bead fell off. Let me look for it and put it back in so I will know how to clamp it and it will be easy to work. Yes, that's it. So now that's in, we are going to clamp the other side. Well, I want to change the shape of this thing. Yeah, just a little different. Okay, so now before we clamp this side, let's decide how did this side look. It looks like this, meaning from here they clamped a crystal bead, which is what we just did, and they fixed this one. Now let's fix this one. Let me look for the one that already has been fixed. Yes, I've done this earlier and kept it down, so I'm just going to pass it through. Okay, now I've passed it through. Same thing, I'm just going to clamp, take it round. I want to clamp around this one, so let's go. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Let's go. We are clamping using our fingers to take it round, round, round. You can do it. Come on, you can do it. Keep going. Round, round. Keep going. Round. Let me see, where is it? It's here. And let me clamp it so that it does not injure. The mouth is still too sharp and I still don't like how it's looking. So let me see if I can drag it somehow so I can turn. Yes, so this way it won't injure anybody. Turn it around, it won't injure anybody anymore. So that's it. So we have on the other part, this is what we have. We have the accessory, the crystal bead, another crystal bead, the flat bead, the chain, part of a chain. Then we have our stone bead. Now, do we want to connect this to this, or remember this is the part we are just doing now? This is the part we've done before. We want to connect this to this, or want to still put one more of this. Put one more of this, it will be longer already. This is already for this part, the first part. This for the second part. So if we attach the whole thing, let's see how long it's going to be. I'm not sure this design is what I want. I think I'd rather put one more of this so it puts some flavor to it. So let me put one more of this and then we are good. I'll put one more of this. Remember the chain, so cut one more out, more like on clamp. So I just open it up and remove the extras. So I have just one. So close it back. If it's not going very well like we did before, use your beautiful clamp and ensure it's closing well. Close it well so that by the time you are putting something through, it won't fall off. That's it. Make sure it's closed well. As much, at least let one end touch each other. That way it won't let anything fall off from it easily. That's it. So now we've done that, same process, we are going to use our wire. Same process, we are going to use our wire to connect it. We're going to use our wire to connect it. Put some wire through. To go through like twice or 3 times. So I'm going to connect it, go through like twice or 3 times, just to make sure it's firm, it's solid. You can see what I'm doing. See what I'm doing, and I want it here. I don't want it moving about. This is where I want it. So I'm going to turn it as much as I can. Keep it together. Okay, so See? Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So see what I have. I hope you can see clearly. That's what I have. So I want to leave a bit with which I'll connect with the wires I had before with the string we've already made. So I'm just going to leave a little with which we'll clamp what we have. Now we're going to clamp this part. Remember, we already have an edge there. Put it through, and then we're ready to clamp. See what I'm doing? So I'm going to start turning around until I finish up that part. That's it. Turning around, turning around. Turning around, sorry. So see what I'm doing? So I'm turning around that end so that it can fit in. Turning around, turning around, and then when you can't turn around again, as usual, we clamp. Once you cannot turn around again, we clamp. Okay, with our clamp, make it happen. See what I've gotten. So that's for one end. Now we are going to the other end. Let's go to the other end, putting the same wire at the other end here. So that's my wire. It's going to go in as before. First we are going to secure that end by going around with the short part, going in and out and in and out and in and out. Now I just want to make that inner part neat. I'm still going to use my clamp as usual, just to make sure it doesn't injure the wearer. I don't want it to cause injuries, so I need to use my clamp on it just to make sure we don't have any issues. Okay, good, covered. So now the last part is just for us to cut out what we'll use to attach to the string we already have. So let's see if we can cut up to this part. I think it's okay. Okay, we'll keep our wire. Sorry about that. We can keep our wire since we already have this part, and we'll connect to the other end. The other end. Remember, this is where the other end of that one was. So this end connecting with this end. That's it. We're just going to turn. Okay, good. So I'm just going to keep turning. Same process, keep turning. Same process, keep turning. Same process, keep turning. Same process, keep turning. When it cannot turn again, remember we will clamp. And when it's looking bumpy too, like it's looking a little bit like that, clamping will help to correct it. Clamp. See what we can correct using it now. Okay. Sorry, just want to position my camera properly so you can see it. So you see this part is still sticking out. Okay, just want to make this as neat as possible and also as safe as possible, so we don't have it injuring somebody. So this is what we have. I think we are done. Now I'm going to wear this finished product on a bead head and I want you to see what it looks like. Okay, so this is the finished product. Can you see the finished product? I really like it. Remember all the processes of putting all of those beads all over here. Remember all the clamping forms all those delicate strands and then fixing the sand beads through. By the time you wear this on a plain dress or a dress that has this color, something close to this bead color, you find that is an amazing match. Simple design but can make a woman stand out. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, to subscribe and to share. Thank you so much. Bye. See you in my next design.